urban groundwater sustainability. Just make a Google. You will find that in our country, more than 54% of the area is urbanized. But we don't have the data related with groundwater in the urban agglomerate. I was in Groundwater Surveys and Development Agency for 25 years. We were estimating the groundwater for the entire state of Maharashtra, and I was lucky to do this exercise for 3-4 groundwater estimations. But if you just search the national level report, you will never find the groundwater availability in the urban agglomerate. That's the mockery of groundwater. Really very bad situation, pathetic situation. What we do, if you ask any state, how do you estimate the groundwater? We will only consider the rural areas which are included in watershed, or those who are doing in the Indo-Gangetic plains, in the alluvial terrain, flat terrain, taluka based. There, excluding urban areas, the areas are being considered. We have seen the most important part, the recharge worthy area. 500 square kilometer of the area is the total area of Pune city. It's the biggest municipal corporation in our country, at least now. Maybe somebody will surpass, but now 500 square kilometers. So you can imagine, if barring 20%, we'll leave aside 20% as a hilly area, which is not a part of recharge areas, maybe from the government perspective, but still 300 square kilometer of the area we have aquifers. And in hard rock, as he has rightly pointed out, we are not lucky to have the sandy aquifers. We call it as the equigranular aquifers. No, we don't have the primary pore spaces. We have only the secondary pore spaces, that is fractures, cracks, crevasses, and whatever pore spaces which are available in the amygdaloidal units within the basalts. So that's why this report was very important for us to go ahead with whatever we are planning to do in the urban agglomerates. Now, I am going to focus more on the civil society, our roles, responsibility, duties, and the responsibilities. Now, why groundwater sustainability? If you see the insufficient surface water resources, I am not going to talk about the data because already he has shown much of the database. I am just going to talk on the principles. This is more important. See, even if you go on creating the n number of surface water storages, we don't have abundant rainfall. Luckily, Pune city, the western part is only the luckiest part, we can say, but as we move towards east, we are approaching the drought prone area where the rainfall is less than 500 millimeter. So if we go back to the calculation of what Viraj said, 500 millimeter, if it is going into the groundwater, then what will remain? It will not be possible for the rainfall to recharge 100%. It's not possible. So every rainfall or whatever rainfall we receive, as per the hydrological cycle, 40% goes back to the atmosphere without coming to you, called as the evaporation and evapotranspiration. So remains only 60%, and within 60%, everybody, there are so many stakeholders: soil moisture, then groundwater, surface water, all these are the stakeholders in rest of the 60%. So if we wanted to manage that, then you will come to know that the surface water resources, which are on an average for Maharashtra, it is only 20%. So rest remains the soil moisture and the groundwater. rest remains for the groundwater. So the groundwater is more dependence. So the dependence on the groundwater, especially in the hard rock aquifers, in the country is more than 80%. Is more than 80%. That is what are the reports? The reports are available. You can go through the reports. The third and most important part, the groundwater plays a fundamental role in shaping the economic and the social health of almost all the urban areas. Now here, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj come to our help. What he did, go to every fort. The systems are decentralized. The principles, see the most of the principles, what it did, decentralize water resources. Go to any fort, go to Devgiri, go to Siaghad, go to any of the fort, what it did, first before constructing any fort, he assured the water availability of the water resources. Those who are interested, go and visit Devgiri Fort, called as Daulatabad Fort. You will come to know that they have constructed Hatti Haud. What do you mean by Hatti Haud? The tank has got the elevation that an elephant can stand over it. So 365 days sustainable water supply on each fort was his principle. So what he said? Protect the springs. Protect the springs. तोफा चालवायच्या असतील तर अशा चालवा की झरा संपायला नको. आज्ञा आहे महाराजांच्या या मोडी लिपीतल्या आज्ञा आहेत. And now every politician is praising him. If somebody utters any word, रस्त्यावर उतरतात आहेत. But what about his principles? Are we following? Are we obeying his orders? या प्रसिद्ध झालेल्या आहेत. Those who want to study, definitely go and study. See, this is what is the base for us to go for the water management. He was a great water management expert, we can say. Can you please? Next. One has to understand, we don't have two resources. Surface water and groundwater, they are not two different resources. They are two interchangeable phases of water. Initially, in the month of rainy seasons till October, you receive the rainfall. See, whatever water which flows over the surface, some of it seeps down, gets contributed into soil moisture. When it gets saturated to the filled capacity, it goes down under the influence of gravity, gets stored into the aquifers. And when aquifer gets saturated, that you are going to experience in the lunch also. जेवायला दिलंय आज माहित नाही मला वैशालीने काय ठेवलंय, गालाजाम गुलाबजाम काहीतरी ठेवलंय म्हणत होती वैशाली. Yes, everybody has got a limited capacity to eat gulab jamun. But if I just put one more to Vaishali, what will happen? Vaishali can eat as per my request. But if doctor says, yes, Vaishali, you have to take one more, what will happen? Vaishali can't digest it, will come out. Likewise, when the groundwater gets saturated, because as he rightly pointed out, the groundwater has got a total capacity which is maximum 4% for the entire Maharashtra aquifers. Maximum 4% means what? If you take a tank of 1 meter length, 1 meter width and 1 meter depth, it will be 1 cubic meter. Put the basalt, that is the vesicular basalt, which we call it as a good aquifer in Pune, and allow the rain to fall. How much quantity you will get out of this 1000 cubic meter, that is 1 cubic meter, that is 1000 liter, you will receive only 40 liters of water in the groundwater form. So you can imagine, if it exceeds, then the groundwater through the discharge zone, as he rightly pointed out, through the discharge zone comes out in the form of springs and fed into the lower aquifers again. That is what is the nature's beauty is and that's why we wanted to maintain the spring. And unless and until springs are there, the ecosystem of the river cannot be maintained. Those who are environmental experts, they have to understand this philosophy. So groundwater has to fade. If you go to Sironcha, that's the only river in the country or in the state of Maharashtra called Godavari, where on 25th of May you will find that 1 meter of water column, water is flowing into the Godavari river. Why? Because Gaul, Gadchiroli, Sironcha, all these places, they are forest owned areas, and no groundwater exploitation. Groundwater exploitation is less than 10%. So that's why all they are feeding, means the aquifers are saturated. What Shailajatai asked the question, all the rivers are effluent rivers, and that is what is philosophically we want, that every river should be effluent. But today what is happening? All the rivers are influent. So the surface water and the groundwater, the source is only one, that is rainfall. In today we are sitting here, we have hydrogen molecule, we have oxygen molecule. Try to take hydrogen and oxygen, पानी बनाओ, बूंद नहीं बनेगा. It's not possible. Not possible means technically it is not feasible. Yes, it is feasible. Economically not viable. Not in the world you will never find कि कोई तो भी ये पानी बना रहा है artificially. It's not possible. So we have to depend on the rainfall only. So that's a God gift. And secondly, most important, they are interchangeable and two phases of water. So one entering into the second. So that's why we have to depend on both the sources. Rather, we have to conjunctively use both these as a sources for our beneficial purpose. Groundwater never produce underground. Please understand. जमीन के नीचे पैदा भी नहीं होता है. आज ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है, एक्सेप्टिंग बारिंग मीटियोरिक वाटर. छोड़ दो उसको, वो कितना परसेंट में है. आई थिंक समबडी आस्क. ये जो नीचे जाने वाला पानी है ना, ये 3-4 पीढ़ियों के आगे का पानी है. If you try to find out the age of that water, in Pune we did not able to do that exercise, but in Latur and Usmanabad we have tried to do the aging of groundwater, and we came to know that the deeper aquifers have the age of more than 60 years. So you can imagine, water to come down to that place requires 60 years to travel under the influence of gravity. So the recharge zone could be where you can imagine. So that's why groundwater is not produced. It comes through the rainfall and from the surface water. So that's why, one more click, Sinasab. One more click. So it is part. नाण्याच्या दोन बाजू आहेत. Part. First, either head or tail. You can't, even if you put a coin, you can't able to tell. So that's why philosophically and technically it is very important that both have to be studied together, and then only don't ignore groundwater because of its importance. And that's why we have to respect water. So those who learn Sanskrit, they will come to know पाण्याला तीर्थ म्हटलेलं आहे. फक्त आई वडिलांनाच आपण तीर्थरूप म्हणतो, बाकी कोणालाही तीर्थरूप म्हणत नाही. त्यामुळे आई वडिलांनंतर पाणी हे फक्त तीर्थरूप आहे. So that's why holy places is called as tirth. So this is what is the importance of our groundwater. Next please. Now civil society. What do you mean by civil society? I'll take back to 1992. That is Agenda 21. That document is nicely drafted. It's available. India was one of the country who participated in that conference also. United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. You said 1992. They have nicely defined as a civil society. See, a constantly shifting concept describing the social formation that is intermediate between family, that is first part. Second part, the state and the market. These are the three components of the civil society. What it says? Yes, there are 9 major groups They have classified at a international level. There are 9 groups: women, children, youth, indigenous people. This indigenous people, definition of indigenous people is very beautiful. Those who have born and brought up in those areas, That's why we respect Himanshu sir, because he knows everything about Pethas. His childhood was in there, so that's why he can able to let you know about the anything. Luckily, he became a hydrogeologist, so that we can able to know more about the springs. But that is what is essential today. Then NGOs, local authorities, workers and their trade unions, business and industries, and the scientific and technology community, and the last is the farmers. So these are the 9 components of the civil society. So this is what we are expecting today, that this participation if we get, then we can able to go for the urban groundwater sustainability with the help of them. Next please. What are the challenges? These challenges were discussed. See, Agenda 21 now today also it's a base document. Whatever things are happening at an international level, still that document is referred. So here the civil society pillar of 2015 UN conference, what they said, 4 tools for implementation, 4 tools. First, technology. So if you are thinking about the groundwater sustainability, what are the technology? Second, capacity building. Third, governance. Then include institutions and the legal frameworks, that is most important. And last but not the least, financing. Without that, we cannot able to survive. Now, activities to be carried out. Again, Dublin principle helped us. IWRM principle, integrated water resources management. What it says, water development and management should be based on participatory approach. The first word is participatory approach. Without participation, yes, it's not possible. Second, involving users. You have to involve users, planners, policy makers at all levels. What is participatory approach? We all know what is participatory approach. Raising awareness among policy makers. That's why initially in the beginning, Dr. Rajans told us that, see, most of the Pune Municipal Corporation officers, they are not aware. Not only officers, but if you approach any politician, anybody who is now heading the government also, if you ask about the groundwater, nobody will let you know. Nobody will tell you about the groundwater availability in the entire state. What are the issues? Just putting up programs for groundwater conservation, for groundwater recharge will not going to solve the problems. So this is most important. It means the decisions are taken at the lowermost appropriate level. That is most important. So that's why Viraj has shown very nice map. If you just look back to his presentation, he has shown the aquifer map along with the ward boundaries. See, that is what is the beauty of the map is. One has to look after that. And he has requested those who are staying in those areas that they should come up. In my ward, what can I do? Elections are coming now. Next year maybe we will have elections. So we have to ask our Nagar Sevaks, what are you going to do for our water resources, and what you are going to do for the sustainability of the groundwater resources if the dependency on groundwater is highest. He has shown only survey of 2 wards. But where I stayed for 10-15 years, that was a Katras area, and the well density is highest in Pune city, 18 wells per square kilometer, which exceeded the norm also. So you can imagine, can it be possible if I put 18 straws in 1 Coca-Cola, 1 liter of Coca-Cola bottle, will it suffice? Will not. So that is what is happening. Sharing of groundwater has started. So that's why at the lowest appropriate level is most important. Second, with full public consultation. That is second point which is most important. If you just visit the website of Maharashtra Water Resources Regulatory Authority, you will find that they are not at all taking any decision independently. That's a quasi-judiciary body. It is above government. That's why Patel Sahab got a decision within one meeting. It's not like government. So that's why with full public consultation, they said that yes, public consultation is a must. And without public consultation, we will not take any decision. Third, involvement of users in planning and implementation of the water project. Is this happening? That's why Vaishali, even Sinha Sahab and Rajan sir was telling, and even Viraj also explained, why we did the experiment in Dada Gujar school. We revived the percolation tank. It was a percolation tank, but they have constructed a road over it. Nobody knows that it's a wall of a percolation tank. The second point, the KTVR. In the month of January, the base flow was more than 300 liters per minute. Can you imagine? This much of groundwater was available. Base flow का मतलब होता है कि बरसात के बाद में जो पानी नदी में आता है, वो पानी दूसरा तीसरा कोई नहीं है, ग्राउंड वाटर है. इतने क्वांटिटी में अगर ग्राउंड वाटर आता होगा तो वहां पे केटीवेयर को गेट लगाना जरूरी था. Nobody was knowing. Two big societies are there. Kumar Pebble on one side, and I don't remember the second name of the society. But nobody was taking care of that. लोगों ने बोला हाँ हमारे पास गेट है, वो कभी तो भी किसी ने तो भी दिया है. Yes, but you have to put the gates in the post monsoon season so that you can arrest that water resources which is available in ample quantity. So the groundwater being a common property resource, invisible है, दिखता ही नहीं है जमीन के नीचे. It's just dynamic, it's not static, it's not visible. रात के अंधेरे में सब जन कार चलाते होंगे यहाँ पे. कैसे चलाते हैं? How do you drive the vehicle? You have a limitation because the upper and the lower focus has got a limit of a distance. But after that, imagination hai, simple. So that's why groundwater is estimated. You cannot able to actually count the total availability. That's very difficult. But we have to reach to that level. So that's why this is most important, that it's a common property resource, common pool resource. जब जमीन के नीचे चले जाता है ना, जब तक के ऊपर है तब तक के वो ग्लास आपका है, वो बॉटल आपकी है. But once it enters below the ground, it's nobody's property. It is a common property. It will go on moving underground under the influence of gravity. That's why it is more challenging. जितने भी MBA के स्टूडेंट होंगे उनके लिए ये मैनेजमेंट के लिए बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. So we want their support. Next please. Now the groundwater scenario in urban areas. See the increasing population and the groundwater dependence in the cities. They are increasing in the India. These are two beautiful graphs. If you see small cities, yes, they are more dependent. If your cities are small, less than 10,000 population, called as Nagar Parishad, whatever you say, there the groundwater dependency is very high. But even there are many big cities also like Pune, you will find that they are all listed here. That's the beautiful thing. Along with the groundwater extraction, most important, ये टैंकर कहाँ से पानी लाते हैं? See, extraction, import of groundwater from the peri-urban areas. In our country, Chennai is the only city where first act came into existence called as the Chingalepattu Act. Those who want to study more, पढ़िएगा Chingalepattu Act क्या है? They wanted to stop this because in the rural areas they have stopped farming and they were supplying the tankers to Madras city once upon a time. So that's why the act came into existence, and then rather we can say late Chief Minister Honorable Jayalalitha enforced the decision of rainwater harvesting, and Madras was the first city in the country which was where 100% rainwater harvesting was done. 100% to mitigate the water scarcity problem in Chennai. Then groundwater mining is happening. Beautiful example, Kolkata. Those who have visited Kolkata, subsidence has started. World Bank report has come up that many such cities we were not able to understand also that subsidence can happen in our country also, but it has started. Dependability on the deeper aquifers have increased. Somebody asked a question, how much quantity of groundwater is available into the deeper aquifers? For their understanding, if suppose annual replenishable aquifer receives 100 liters of water annually, then only 10 liters will go into the deeper aquifers. So you can imagine the capacity now. I am talking about maximum. Last but not least, most important, groundwater quality has deteriorated. If you go down, fluoride will come. I don't know. Others will also come. But that has started. In Maharashtra also, it has been reported in Pune. Unofficially, I am quoting, lead is also reported in groundwater. Next. I'll just stop it means I will not go into the depth of the quality. But you can understand. Adverse impacts. What is happening? See, already this equilibrium stage has crossed. We have already crossed in Pune city. This equilibrium was already crossed. So the groundwater levels are depleting at an alarming rate. But unfortunately, if you ask me, I don't have the data to support because we don't have the observation wells, any of the observation wells. Aquadam is requesting everybody to participate in the water level monitoring unless and until we have, because groundwater levels are the pulse of groundwater. One has to understand there is a direct similarity between body science and the groundwater science. आज हमारे पास डॉक्टर साहब बैठे हुए हैं. He will let you know. हम बॉडी के बारे में, हमारे खुद का बॉडी के बारे में बहुत, we are very much alert. थोड़ा भी कम ज्यादा होता है तो immediately we rush to the doctors. But what about groundwater? Really we go to aquadam for any of the decisions? I think I haven't heard. GSDA में 25 साल में मेरे पास कोई कभी आया नहीं कि हमारे कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है करके. Neither they have approached aquadam that हमारे we have a problem and please try to resolve it. सिर्फ एक चीज के लिए आते हैं, पॉइंट दिखाओ, डगवेल का बोरवेल का पॉइंट दिखाओ. That's the only request. Then already talked about the land subsidence. Borewells are drying up. That's most important part. See, borewells, they are nothing but they are point sources. They are point sources. If you drill a borewell exactly 5 to 10 feet away from a high-yielding borewell, you will never find the similar quantity of water will struck into that. So that's why यहाँ बैठे हुए सब लोग, every entity is different. कोई है देवानंद जैसा दूसरा देवानंद नहीं, अमिताभ बच्चन जैसा दूसरा अमिताभ बच्चन नहीं है. Likewise, yes, ये ग्राउंड वाटर में भी सेम है. Every entity, even if it is a dug well, even if it is a bore well, or even if it is a tube well in the alluvium, every entity is different. That one has to understand. So that's why it's the biggest challenge for groundwater management. And increase energy consumption. Yes, energy is increasing. This is luckily we could able to get one hydrograph for Katraj, where GSDA was monitoring till 2007 or 2008-9 something. Then afterwards, when it entered into the urban agglomerate, they have stopped monitoring the groundwater level. But the groundwater levels are declining. If you see the long-term groundwater level trend, you will come to know that it is declining by 20 centimeters a year. So you can imagine 20 centimeters a year in 5 years, 1 meter of water column will definitely go down. So that much of aquifer is empty. What is going to happen to this aquifer, which is empty aquifer and which is porous? जो हम मुरूम जिसको बोलते हैं, it is a good aquifer. What will happen? Compaction will going to happen. And once the aquifer gets compacted, will not rejuvenate at its own. नेचर में ऐसी कोई सिस्टम नहीं है, और आदमी ने तो बनाना भी पॉसिबल नहीं है कि ये पूरा मुरुम जो है ना रीइंस्टेट करके दिखाए. ये हमारा बिल्डिंग का क्या बोलते हैं, रीडेवलपमेंट इज क्वाइट पॉसिबल, इट्स वेरी इजी, बट फॉर ग्राउंड वाटर इट्स नॉट इजी. These are some of the figures. This is the surface water, and in 10 years of time, see how much dependency has increased in Pune city. So why public participation, awareness, civil society's importance, why it is most important that one should know these facts. And that's why today we should congratulate Aquadam that this report has come up, and now we should request the Pune Municipal Corporation, saying that every year you should start publishing the water level or water table maps annual basis. जैसे हमें इस साल in Panchet how much quantity of surface water is available. All the figures are available in your mobile. Every day. आजकल तो थोड़ा बारिश हो गया तो इतना रन ऑफ आ गया करके न्यूज़पेपर में ऊपर में यू गेट अ हेडलाइन. ग्राउंड वाटर में मिलता है क्या? वी हैव टू रीच टू दैट लेवल. हमें ये ग्राउंड वाटर का इंपॉर्टेंस वी हैव टू टेक टू दैट पॉइंट कि वो न्यूज़पेपर का ऊपर का लाइन आना चाहिए कि नाउ दिस ईयर द सदाशिवपेट एक्विफर नंबर सो एंड सो. नॉमेनक्लेचर, नोटिफिकेशन, व्हाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. जैसा हमारा हर एक का नाम है, हम हमारे नाम से जाने जाते हैं. आई एम शशांक देशपांडे. सो उस टाइप में माय एक्विफर शुड बी नोटिफाइड, should have a name, and should have an identity, and should have the total availability. This year इतना बारिश हो गया है. This year if rainfall is less by 20%, IMD says that it's a normal rainfall, isn't it? But if it is less by 20% for groundwater, how much groundwater gets depleted? You will be surprised. The depletion or the reduction is by 35%. And if the rainfall is less than 50%, the depletion in the resources is more than 75%. It's in the geometric progression. This is what is the estimated. It is in the report. Those who want, they can study the groundwater estimation reports of 2009 onwards. You will find these facts are there in the state report. This is annually replenishable groundwater resources which are depleting because the groundwater recharge is not the process of an annual rainfall. It's not directly linked. Though unconfined aquifer gets recharged every year, but if all the feasible conditions are there, डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं. लकीली डॉक्टर अभी हमारे पास बैठे हुए हैं. आस्क हिम, जब वो प्रिस्क्रिप्शन लिखते हैं तो वो कंडीशंस डालते हैं. इफ यू फॉलो ऑल दिस थिंग देन ओनली यू विल गेट द रिजल्ट्स. लाइकवाइज annual recharge, if the recharge area is totally free from the cement covers, if it is not covered, then only you will get the benefits of it. Otherwise the recharge will not happen. Next please. So what is needed and who will do it? What is needed? Yes, manage aquifer recharge through community participation. So that's why Bhujal, Abhiyan, Aquadam, see, everybody is promoting this community participation in urban agglomerate. Now, the metro word for the urban agglomeration is also outdated, and now some other word has come up and called as the megapolis. So you can imagine Pune is entering into that if we use that word properly. So, the urban local bodies, it is whose responsibility? We have to support this urban local body along with the area Sahwas. I think somebody introduced that I think Date has introduced that she is a member of area Sabha. Yes, if it is a Baner Pashan linked road area, yes, they should know that what is happening in our area. What are the community programs for artificial groundwater recharge, though it is on the hillock or though it is in the river bed or though it is related with the spring. The area sabha should know and they should participate in the discussions. Conjunctive use of surface water and groundwater has to be there. They should go hand in hand. Without that, it's not possible. So it's again urban local body and the civil societies, they have to, yes, cooperate. They have to do the responsibility, share the responsibility. Optimum use of groundwater sources like springs, wells, borewells. See, Viraj was telling out of 63 springs, 40 springs, maybe I plus minus 2, 3, they are perennial. Why can't we use that springs as a source locally? Those who have gone to Aurangabad, go and see the nahars. What are those nahars? I stayed in Aurangabad city for 18 years. I have mapped 18 nahars. Out of that 18 nahars, almost 12 nahars were perennial. See the beauty of it. Nahar है क्या है? See in Jatwada, they have brought जो famous नहर जिसको बोला जाता है पान चक्की वाला, where the mill was working, फर्स्ट फ्लोर तक के पानी लेके गए हैं. ग्रेविटी से जटवाड़ा से पानी आ रहा है. दैट मीन्स सी द यूसेजेस ऑफ द स्प्रिंग्स. पेरिनियल स्प्रिंग है वो, आज भी चलता है, बट ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, नाउ व्हेन आई वाज स्टेइंग in the Thatte Haud, I stayed there at the Thatte Haud for 3 years. So there I came to know that the spring was perennial. But now, if you go and see, yes, it stops in the month of March. Kyun? Because in those areas, the groundwater exploitation has started. Sharing has started. So there, the focus should be on the sustainability of the springs. That is more important. So if such springs are there in your areas, Sabha's areas, yes, please try to pursue with the local Nagar Sevak, saying that yes, we have to plan. Some of the Nagar Sevaks now, they are putting hoardings. Ki in our areas, we are planning to go for the community recharge of such and such, revival of such and such percolation tank. So you can imagine, now the competition has started. So that competition should spread and give us the results. Rainwater harvesting. Everywhere, but not anywhere. It should be as per the aquifer. If the aquifers are not available, I don't know whether you have seen that aquifer map thoroughly, southern part of the Pune city, you will come to know that the thicknesses of the aquifers are very small. So there, if you try to put abundant quantity of surface water, that is called as the rainwater, will not go. ठूसना नहीं है, सर का वर्ड है ये, ठूसना नहीं है. We don't have to push that water into the bore well. No, 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 no. अगर मैं पुश करता हूं आपको, if I try to put in your mouth 4 gulab jams at a time, will it be possible? Will not be possible. So likewise, the acceptance of groundwater is also very important. So that has to be. So it's like a test. Again, I'm taking you to the body science. अगर हमें जाना है डॉक्टर के पास, तो हमें डॉक्टर पहले बोलता है यू कैरी आउट सम टेस्ट. जो वो टेस्ट का रिजल्ट्स आते हैं तो वी कम टू नो हीमोग्लोबिन का रेंज मिलता है. सी दो आवर बॉडी इज सो सेंसिटिव बट स्टिल यू गेट अ रेंज, देन व्हाई कांट बी दिस? सो द रेंज हैज टू बी carried, range has to be estimated in all the aquifers, that try to put this much quantity of water into the aquifer, then only the aquifer will accept, and if you increase that, will not be possible. So that is most important. So these type of the guidelines, documents has to be issued in consultations with the experts. Groundwater governance, yes, it's most important. Because आज सब तरफ यानी रामराज के ऊपर कोई विश्वास रखता होगा तो ठीक है, बट उस जमाने में भी देयर वेर नोटोरियस पीपल, आज भी है. सो इन कम्युनिटी यू विल फाइंड दैट yes, there will be somebody who will not obey your orders, and for that purpose you have to have the groundwater in place. Then only we can able to control the common pool resources. If you wanted to travel in the metros, you have to obey the rules and regulations established by the trains, established by the authorities. Likewise, for groundwater abstraction, you have to have this in place. And the in urban context, yes, we have to modify a little bit as far as implementation is concerned. Last but most important, community monitoring of groundwater level. See, it's not possible. If you ask any government agency or any municipal corporation in our country, everybody will say that it's not possible. आज अगर किसको भेजना है वाटर लेवल मॉनिटरिंग के लिए, so it's a tedious job for monitoring of the groundwater levels. So that's why we have to introduce this as a community participation tool. Community participation tool. Simple है. बोरवेल में सबके यहाँ पंप बिठाया है. Now the technology is available. Just put one sensor, simple sensor, and it's not costly sensor. It's very cheap sensor. Amazon करो, आपको सेंसर की कॉस्ट पता चल जाएगा. But put the sensor along with the pump. It will work on that energy only. It will not take different energy. It will not require. But you will continuously get the water level on hourly basis, on 6 hourly basis, whatever you want at your desktop or in your mobile also. Next, please. What are the constitutional provision? I will not go into the depth of it because the constitutional provision, 74th amendment, is most important for our discussions. It says that yes, constitution regarding the panchayats and the urban local bodies, and at a national level, groundwater comes under minor irrigation. See what is happening for groundwater. Groundwater doesn't get the chance to get listed into the constitutional list also. The word groundwater is not at all there. And हमारे कितने सालों से, if you see सिंधु संस्कृति, तब से we find that the dependence was there on the groundwater, but still in constitution you will not find the word groundwater. So there is a need that it has to be introduced. Next, please. We have a central groundwater authority. Lucky, I can't say lucky is not a good word. Basically, Maharashtra is the only state in the country where two authorities are operational at one time. Central groundwater authority is also operational and the state groundwater authority is also operational. To your surprise, water is a state subject, but funny thing is that two authorities are operating at one place and we have to obey both orders of both. So that should not happen. The state groundwater authority, most important. These are some of the sections which are very much important from our point of view. The first section, SGWA to identify the recharge worthy areas, where Aquadam has already done this exercise, and as for section 9.1, the state groundwater authority have the powers to identify. Already it has been identified. The report has to be shared with MWRRA, and we should pursue with the MWRRA that yes, immediately, please notify these recharge worthy areas as soon as possible. Second, 9.7, rainwater harvesting is mandatory for areas having 100 square meter or more. If your society has an area more than 100 square meter, then it is mandatory. But second part, take a support of the aquifer, whether aquifer is there or not. If you are residing in Pashan area, the word area name itself says that Pashan यानी पानी नहीं है, पूरा पाषाण है. Don't go for it. But in Pashan also, there are some areas where you find good aquifers. Section 21, the district authority shall notify by order. He has to issue order. So that's why I quoted a case of a Patel Sahab. He fought for more than 2 years. But ultimately, yes, he got a success. And both were notified. So the public drinking water source. So all these 63 springs should be notified. ये precedence हो गया है हमारे पास अभी बावधन spring का. 41. See, 41 is most important. These powers are with GSD only. They don't have to go to district authority. They don't have to go to even the state groundwater authority. They can identify, delineate and declare the aquifers in the state. So you can imagine how much peer pressure we can put on a GSDA saying that you have to do this because this is readily available. Cook food. बना बनाया हुआ खाना आपको मिल गया है, जस्ट खाने की जरूरत है अबे. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. See, these are the example, classical example, those who are interested. Yes, this is first. Baudan spring has been notified and this is the area of influence notification. ये त्रिमूर्ति का सिक्का है. Nobody can challenge it. Now Pune Municipal Corporation, they cannot say that I can't take action now. Because this has been notified legally. So they have to take action. If suppose somebody demands कि बावधन झरे का पानी कम हो रहा है, डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, बावधन झरे का क्वालिटी खराब हो रहा है, so immediately they have to take action against him. So this SDM is empowered. SDM means sub-divisional magistrate, which is of a deputy collector rank, who is Mawal deputy collector for Pune city. So as per section 9(1) recharge area already discussed, this GSDA and stop the misuse of the potable groundwater. There are many places where the groundwater is potable. If you ask Viraj, he will let you know about the quality data. Though 20-30 springs were of a bad quality, but they were bacterially contaminated. So you can use that water after boiling. That's not an issue. For boiling, it's not an issue. But if it is chemically contaminated, reality is we have to think over it. Next. So this is the map which he has shown. I have just tried to superimpose, but I could not able to do because of my technical limitations. Next, please. Yes, now this is the most important part. 40% of the shallow aquifer which has been replenished, which is annually replenishable, has been totally removed. Just do it. आप जिस एरिया में रहते हो उस एरिया में ये एक्विफर मैप रखो और आपके बिल्डिंग के नीचे वाला जितना माइनस है, जब मिस्टर सारंग वाज टेलिंग यू -2, -3, आप कितने नीचे गए हो, यू कैन इमेजिन. एंड हाउ मच, सी द थिकनेसेस आर नॉट मच as far as the aquifers are concerned for Pune city. So the recharge area mostly covered with the cement pavements. Can it be possible? यहाँ पे अगर पानी डालते हो, what happens? रास्ते पे पानी डालते हो, क्या होता है? What happens? नीचे जाता है? No, not at all. Where it goes? After 5-10 minutes आप घर में पोछा लगाते हो, क्या होता है? पानी का क्या होता है? It sips? No. It goes. कहाँ चले जाता है? Evaporation. The sun will take 24/7 पंप काम करता है. लोगों का एक मिसकंसेप्शन है, रात में इवेपोरेशन नहीं होता है. And the most funniest part is that highest evaporation is in the night. Highest evaporation is in the night. So that's why we have to be very cautious. इसलिए रात में पानी नहीं देते हैं. हमारे जो फार्मर्स होते हैं ना, मोस्ट इंटेलिजेंट है, सुबह पानी देते हैं, मॉर्निंग एट 4 o'clock. Why? Because the evaporation is lowest between 4 to 6. 6 बजे के बाद में evaporation start हो जाता है, which increases. Sorry, पीछे थोड़ा सा एक last point is in. Yes, potential aquifers in the Pune city, and the last point which I wanted to throw for the discussion, where yes, that point was discussed. Can TDR and FSI be controlled in the recharge areas? Think over it. We have to control it. Otherwise, what Sarang was telling, tunnel karte ho, and if the aquifers are encountered, then dewatering will take out every drop of groundwater which is getting replenished in the recharge areas. Nothing will happen because we have created a complete media which is having no aquifer. So definitely the water table contours, they have changed a lot. So that's why the picture which was shown by Viraj was very important. एक side से the aquifer has stopped contributing. So if it is in the recharge areas, will never, that bore well will never rejuvenate. Next. See, this is my favorite slide. See, there is a direct similarity. If you are removing the intestine, can it be possible for you to eat today? You cannot able to eat more than 2 gulab jams. But if I have a capacity of eating 10 gulab jams, then yes, my intestine need to be protected. And for that purpose, if it is a body, you immediately rush to doctors saying that, यार खाना नहीं जा रहा है डॉक्टर साहब, क्या करूं, कुछ तो भी कीजिएगा. But what happens? ये अगर हमने पूरा रिमूव कर दिया तो it will be very difficult. So that's why groundwater is not unlimited. जमीन के नीचे में समुंदर नहीं है, ये अगर किसी के दिमाग में मिसकंसेप्शन हो तो प्लीज निकाल दो. That is not at all the case. It has got a limitation. नहीं तो क्या है, जमीन के नीचे तालाब है, जमीन के नीचे क्या क्या है, सब कुछ बोला जाता है. But don't believe on those facts. These are all misconceptions that needs to be removed. Yes, last point, the registration of existing abstraction structure. Yes, it is very much essential. Measurement of rainfall. Please participate. Please participate. Whosoever is carrying out this exercise, please support. आप वो technically IMD को चलेगा नहीं चलेगा छोड़ दो. At least at your building, how much rainfall you receive, that is more important. Because जब तक के हमें ये नहीं पता चलता हमारे घर में आने वाला पैसा कितना है, तब तक के हम मैनेजमेंट कर सकते हैं क्या? नहीं कर सकते. एट हाउस होल्ड लेवल जैसे दोनों मियाँ बीबी काम करते हैं, किस लिए काम करते हैं? सबको रीजन मालूम है, isn't it? So likewise the surface water and the ground water has to be estimated together. तो उसके लिए रेनफॉल मेजरमेंट इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. हमारे सर के ऊपर कितना पानी गिर रहा है तो वो तो पता चलना चाहिए. नीचे जाने वाला उसमें से कितना है वो तो बात की बात है, कितना मिल रहा है हमें, व्हाट इज नेचर्स गिफ्ट, वो तो पता चलना चाहिए. मेजरमेंट ऑफ ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल्स ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड. एनुअल ग्राउंड वाटर एस्टिमेशन, दैट इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर हम एनुअल ग्राउंड वाटर एस्टिमेशन नहीं करते हैं तो हमारा रिसोर्सेस, आज हमें कितना इनकम मिलने वाला है ये साल का पता नहीं चला, तो कैन इट बी पॉसिबल फॉर यू टू मैनेज फाइनेंशियली? सब हंस दिए, हंसी मुस्कुराहट अच्छी है. सो आई कैन इमेजिन यू मस्ट हैव अंडरस्टूड दिस पॉइंट. सो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज नीडेड गाइडलाइंस फॉर लोकल लोकेशन स्पेसिफिक रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग मेजर्स, storage and artificial groundwater recharge to storage. There are many places in Pachgani you must have visited. So there the Nagar Parishad had made it mandatory that you have to store. Go to Chikaldara, you will find that Deep Shikha school, they have constructed 1 lakh liters of tank at the basement, and the school children, they are utilizing it for drinking purposes for 240 days. Can you imagine? So precious rainfall is. Quality wise is also beautiful. Quality wise, don't believe acid rains Maharashtra में तो भी नहीं है at least reported. So you can call yourself lucky. Training, that is most important part. For all stakeholders, training is must. Are we saving our life? Think over it. If you call yourself as a doctor, डॉक्टर हमारे साथ बैठे हुए हैं, वो अगर हमारे लाइफ सेवर्स है तो yes for groundwater, being water is a life. Think over it. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.